Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Ready to take your nursing career to the next level? At Global Nurse Pathways, we're here to make your dream of working in the U.S. healthcare system a reality. From expert NCLEX exam preparations to personalized consulting and relocation support, led by the incredible Dr. Alice Nalondo, who holds a Doctor of Nursing Practice and is certified as a family nurse practitioner and a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. Our team delivers top-notch training to help you answer the NCLEX exam. Once you pass your NCLEX exam, we will connect you with the US-based recruiting agencies, setting you on the path to an amazing career in healthcare. Ready to get started? We're just a call or a message away. Call or WhatsApp us now at +1 346 328 1110 for the US or +260 961 875 081 for Zambia or email info@embbehavioral.com. Let's make your dreams come true together. Global Nurse Pathways, transforming careers, changing lives.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. It is Saturday, October 11th, and we are diving into serious issues today. As you all may be aware, this is Zambia's month of independence, so we normally tend to take a political inclination to reflect, to look at the forward way and what is happening. Follow us on ZBTR TV. We are on Facebook, all social media platforms. You just need to do a search on ZBTR TV and you'll find us. Tell a friend, ZBTR is live and going today. My guest is a seasoned politician, if I may put it that way. Yes, it's not an understatement. Mr. Muhabi Lungu has served as Secretary General for the MMD, that's like 10, 15 years ago. He was Special Assistant to Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. He also served as MC, member of the Central Committee for UNIP on Economy and Finance. And he also served on former President Rupia Banda on his campaign team. Today, my guest joins me. Hello, Muhabi, welcome.
Thank you, Nathan. I'm very grateful to be here.
It's
may I say,
been
I
a
don't
while.
know whether to say good morning, good evening, and so on to everyone.
Yes, it has. The road to Zambia's 2026 general elections. You see, my brother, I was looking at this way. I said, the things are happening so fast to Zambia, Muhabi. You turn to the right, Dorika announces presidency. You turn to the left, you have John Sangwa, Sebastian Coplande. And next thing now, Mr. Membe is saying there is a united front. Before we talk about what happened in your party, Zambia We Want party, what's going on? Is this okay? Is this normal? Who comprise the united front Mr. Membe is talking about?
Okay, maybe let me start with that one before I go to the other people who are announcing their candidature for the presidency.
Yes.
The United Front currently is composed of 10 political parties.
Okay.
And it also has had its membership also by the Gen Z group. If you recall, a couple of months ago, there were young people who were protesting against ZESCO load shedding and the way they have managed the whole fiasco, let me just say.
Yes.
And then it also has some youth movements. It also has a very strong component of CEDA, which is not a member, but has been assisting, let me say, in trying to make sure that we consolidate some of our discussions.
Who and what is CEDA?
CEDA, it is a civil society organization, if you recall,
yes.
which was which was very instrumental, I think, in putting together a coalition, the UPND Alliance coalition in the last elections.
Yes.
And of course, you recall that the chairman was Emeritus Archbishop Mpundu, and it had all these very prestigious people in it. But obviously, after the elections in 2021, there has been some sort of let me say, disagreements within the membership of OSIDA itself, with some members having quit, others having been more or less influenced by the UPND, and others who have kept the flame burning outside and trying to be a critical voice. So some of those we've been dealing with, like Brebna Changala and others. Let me get back to what the United Front is. As I said, it is composed primarily of 10 political parties, which include the Socialist Party, includes the Zambia We Want, includes Anford Banda's PAC, who are kind of independent members who don't belong to any alliances. Then there was the UKA alliance, represented by Sakwiwa Skota, Chishalakateka, and Jackson Silavwe. And then, of course, Tonse, which was being represented by the anchor party in Tonse, which was PF. Yes. So this front was basically a loose alliance, which was designed to look at specific issues which we thought we needed to put our voices together. Now, the first press conference that we held was in relation to the Zambia'S issue. If you recall, when there was a launch of the census 2022, there was an indication by the chairman of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Beani, who was questioning the numbers and alluding to that those numbers are relating to electoral processes, particularly in the Southern Province, had been doctored. And so that raised all other a lot of questions. So we as a United Front, including, as I said, the PF, held a joint press conference to be able to cast light on our objections regarding the census 2022. So that was the first issue. Then there were subsequent issues, which included Bill 7, which included the Cybersecurity Act and law, which also included other issues which we thought were pertinent and would affect all of us. So it was a loose alliance without any structure similar to Tonse. And it was very issue-based. But when we saw that there was a possibility of all of us working together, there was a proposal that perhaps we could look at this United Front as a basis in which we could eventually select a single flag bearer in time. Yes. So we set up committees, thematic committees, to be able to deal with a number of these themes, so that perhaps we could find a roadmap towards all working together. So this is basically what is referred to as the United Front. It's basically a loose arrangement of all the major political parties.
Okay, there seems to be an element of, if I may use the word, confusion loosely, Muhabi, because Mr. Membe said in 2 weeks' time, the United Front is going to announce a candidate. But Mr. Given Luminda, who said, makes a statement and says they are not aware of that when that meeting about choosing a flag bearer is going to take place in 2 weeks. That doesn't seem to reflect unity.
Well, let me be as candid as I possibly can, Nathan. In an environment where there has been no previous consolidation in terms of a working arrangement, and in an environment where there are many individual players, each of them with different perspectives, sometimes you get to these sorts of hitches where one player thinks that a particular perspective was a shared perspective among all of the people who were meeting, and others who don't think that was what was agreed. So in these process of consultation, there are often such misunderstandings that I think that will occur and reoccur until you are able to solidify a properly identified structure and a properly identified chain of command, which has got a clear itemization in terms of who is supposed to issue what statement. So in the absence of that, there will always be these issues which may seem to be very big disagreements when in fact there may be just a reporting procedures, because what we have now is a secretariat. And I'm a secretariat, as is Dr. Msumali from the Socialist Party. And these, as the chair is Sakuya Scott, and we have meeting regularly, particularly in the last week. And some of the discussions that are in the secretariat filter to the respective presidential candidates. And I think sometimes as that information filters, as I said, the perspective and how it is arrived is a little bit different. So I wouldn't really think very much of it. I think it's something that we'll be able to clarify in due time.
All right. I just thought we should deal with that elephant in the house, since this is happenings of the past, is it less than 24, 48 hours. Let's get to the Zambia We Want Party recent events when you held elections and put office bearers in place. Party president was elected, chairperson yourself as secretary general, which were presided by an independent electoral commission. Tell us about how the process went and who constitutes the independent electoral commission.
Yeah, well, first of all, maybe let me just discuss the principle. When we made the decision to ensure that we have some permanency in terms of our leadership in the Zambia we want, we wanted to make sure that the organization that was going to run the elections was going to be completely and totally independent from the Zambia we want. As you know, and as you are looking at some of the positions that I've held, most political parties have got an internal they've got an internal electoral commission. UNIP had, and so did the MMD. And because we were a newer organization, and because we know we are trying to do something that is very bold in terms of ensuring that the fallout from the elections are reduced compared to previous elections in both UNIP, MMD, and other political parties, we decided that it was extremely important that we have an independent electoral commission. So what we did was we wrote to 5 institutions to compose an electoral commission. That was the Law Association of Zambia. We wrote to Caritas. We wrote to JR. We wrote to Transparency International. I can't remember the 5th one, but there were 5 of them. And what we had hoped was that all of these organizations would come together and form an independent electoral commission. In the end, the commission was composed primarily of the Law Association of Zambia. I think that maybe I would be too long-winded if I went into the back and forth of how that happened. But the Electoral Commission then appointed a lawyer and his staff in order to compose the Independent Electoral Commission. So we had nothing to do with running of the elections. All we did was we agreed on the rules, the regulations, the procedures, and they requested for a constitution, and they ran it completely outside us. Of course, with some consultation from an administrative point of view.
All right. So how is the hierarchy of the party structured? I made an interesting observation. When Dr. Auxilia Ponga was announced as chairperson, it reflects that she'll be the head of the party. How is Zambia we want party structure? Because I would think you know this. You've been doing this for a while. It looks like Zambia we want party has got a different structure, because most political parties, you would be the chief executive officer, the secretary general.
Yeah.
So yours is different.
Yeah. Well, in most political parties in this country, the senior most position is the position of the presidency.
Yes.
Okay. And even though the secretary general is the chief executive of the party, you do have a hierarchy, which usually is the president, the vice president, and so on. One of our defining principles and differences with all the other political parties is that we have noticed that the biggest problem we've had in this country is that the presidency tends to become too strong. The presidency in our country, both in political parties as well as when they are in government, they become messianic figures. They are almost at a position of being demigods. And we didn't want that. We didn't want a Messiah. We didn't want a Wamyayaya. We didn't want a Bali. Okay. And we were very strong, all of us, that we have to demarcate. We have to demarcate clearly between the head of the party and the presidential candidate. So basically, our president in the Zambia we want is a presidential candidate. He is not the chief executive of the party. He's not the chief. He's not some great sage who can tell us. And I'm sorry to say, when the rest of us has to kiss his feet or his behind or whatever. We don't want that. Okay. So because of that, the chairman of the party or the chairperson of the party is the head of the party. Okay. And that head of the party then works very closely with the CEO of the party, which is the secretary general. So it is like you've got a chairman of the board and the CEO of a company. You have got the board of directors in the rest of the national, what we are calling the National Leadership Council. So there is a clear demarcation. The hope is that even if we get to have our presidential flag bearer win the elections, that there will be this demarcation between the government and the party. So that if the party feels that the presidency is not following the policy framework and the constitutional framework from the party, that we can have the presidency actually recalled, just like they do in South Africa and in other jurisdictions where you have a president and a prime minister. So in this particular case, our president is like a prime minister, and you have somebody else who is on top. Now, the catch is this: the head of the party, which is the chair, cannot stand for the position of the presidency unless they relinquish their position 2 years prior to the holding of a conference or a congress. Okay. So that there is that very clear separation, and I think that distinguishes us from all the other political parties, because, as I said, we don't want a Messiah, and we wanted to have a flag bearer who is legitimately elected by the party and not appoints himself as king this or whatever. We don't want that. So in a sense, I am answering your first question about people who have announced. We believe that it is absolutely important for any presidential candidate to have legitimacy.
That's true.
It is absolutely important. We believe that in any place where there is no legitimacy, that person will not be bound by the rules and regulations of something that is bigger than he or she. And this is one of the biggest problems we have faced in terms of governance in Africa. We want to do away with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to clarify something, excuse me, concerning Dr. Auxilia Ponga. Somebody said to me she lost the election and she was handpicked as chairperson. Is there any truth in that?
No, there is no truth in that at all. In fact, we have a very rigorous constitutional framework which states that in our party there's not going to be any appointments. Absolutely zero. There will always be elective positions. And even for those positions like trustee, where we think that we will need some trustees beyond those that we have elected, the process will not be just by acclamation or somebody, president, going to pick up someone. It will be identifying some people, and then there has to be an actual vote by the National Leadership Council. So Dr. Ponga lost the election at the level of presidency. We had given the opportunity to every member to apply to at least 3 other positions, so that we don't
is that the way?
Is that
the way it worked? Maybe that's what people did not understand.
No, that is the way it worked. So Honorable Kapemba Simbao, for example, applied for presidency, and he also applied for trustee. Honorable Bob Sichinga applied for the presidency. He also applied for the position of chairman for economy. You are given at least 3 for you to apply to. So So we had an election over the chairmanship, and she had a contender. She was competing against Bet Mushala. I'm sure you will remember Honorable Bet Mushala.
Yes,
and
I do.
She defeated Honorable Bet Mushala in an election. So there was no appointment, whatever, and she convincingly defeated him to become the chairperson of the party.
So based on what the way we started this conversation and what you said, we would like to presume that Zambia We Want Party President Kapambwe Simbao is a member of the Tonse Alliance Council of Leaders. Is that right?
No, that is not correct.
Isn't Zambia We Want part of Tonse Alliance? It's not.
No, not at all. The Zambia We Want is not part of the Tonse Alliance. We were at its beginning, when it was about to form. We were actually approached to consider being a part of Tonse. And we were concerned with a number of parameters which we were uncomfortable with. And so we discussed this matter in the national leadership.
Are you free to discuss them here?
Yes, I can share. I'll get there. Please, if I'm talking too much, please stop me. But let me just have the sequence that we were approached, and we discussed it, and there were a number of things that we were uncomfortable with, and we declined to join. Earlier to the Tonse Alliance, when UCA was being formed, equally, and at that time, when we were now going towards formation of the Zambia We Want, Honorable Sakwiwa Skota was actually one of us in that grouping before we formed the Zambia We Want in the consultative process. Honorable Sakwiwa was also a member of that, but he went and joined UCA, and he was at that time, in fact, our chair. And he and others from UCA tried to persuade us to join UCA, and again we discussed the matter and we declined. Now, there are a number of reasons and a number of issues which we were concerned about. I don't think that I can discuss all of them, but I can give you maybe 2 of them.
Yeah.
One,
please.
the first one is that we were uncomfortable with the idea that we are joining an alliance for which there was already a selection that the presidential candidate would be AB. We thought that was not something that we could agree on. We thought that if we were going to be a member of an alliance, there shouldn't be any predetermined positions which have already been given to certain individuals. As you recall, that at the time that Tonse was being formed, the announcement, which was, well, first of all, the internal information that was given to us and eventually announced was that President Lungu would be the automatic flag bearer.
Yeah,
and we had made it very clear that although we respected President Lungu, and we also took cognizance of the fact that we understood that the PF was the largest opposition, but we didn't think that it was a rational thing for us to go into an organization for which the leadership structure was already predetermined. Yes. We thought that would deprive us from selecting the best possible candidate, as a flag bearer, and also it would deprive us from determining the best possible structure and officers for the various positions. And we made that very clear. We didn't hide it. And we said to them, this is not in any way to disparage or to denigrate the former president, but we think that some of us, like myself, my brother, I'm sure you know this, I have been involved in a situation where on 2 occasions, I was dealing with situations and fallout from a former head of state coming back to a political party. So I faced this situation with Kaunda, UNIP, until they barred him, and UNIP ended up boycotting the elections in 1996. Yes. Similarly, in 2014, when President Sata died, if you recall, we had a debacle with Nevas Mumba and the return of Arabi. The party eventually chose to support Arab as a returning, as a former head of state. Nevas Mumba reacted. He took to court. When we lost in the Supreme Court, the MMD fractured in three ways.
3 factions,
you had Dr. Msokotwane, and all of those go to UPND. You had a smaller group remaining with Dr. Nevas Mumba. Then you had a larger group, which was basically headed by myself as National Secretary at that point, who were aligned to the former head of state. So there are others in the Zambia we want who have gone through these experiences, and we thought that the issue of a former head of state being involved at that level was going to be an issue which was going to make some difficulties. So we didn't want to go that direction, and I said we expressed. So that was one of the main reasons, but there were other reasons that made us stay out. But maybe let me just conclude by saying this, Nathan. The difference with the United Front was that there wasn't any issue of selecting flag bearers, because, as I said earlier, the issues was that we came together because of issues. Okay, so we at the time we were not talking about who was going to be the king or who is going to be the auxiliary and who was going to be the number 7. We were basically dealing with issues, but I think that sequentially, as we learned to work with each other, we then said, okay, maybe we can have a possibility when we can look at these other issues. Okay, I hope I've been clear.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. It's very important. Here's what I wanted. My next question is, just like the way we started, we witnessed a few citizens declare their candidacy for office of Republican president in the upcoming general elections. Okay, I know some people may argue and say that's their constitutional right. In your view, is this a healthy situation, considering the opposition is working on a single candidate scenario? Should we have?
Okay, let me give you my. Let me give you my individual. Let me give you my individual view, not as Secretary General of the Zambia we want, but as Muhabi Lungu. In February this year, I wrote an article.
Yes.
Called I wrote an article in which I was giving statistical figures about the levels of success or the success rate of presidential candidates in this country since 1991. And just to give a highlight, I had indicated that if you count all the presidency who have participated in the presidential election since 1991, they number 49 of them. Okay. Wow. I think it's 40. Yeah. Yes. Okay. And of those, 29 of those, okay, failed to get 1% of the vote. Okay. 29 failed to get even 1% of the vote. The next group of those people who managed to get maybe 10%, there were only like 3 of them, Dean Mungomba was one of them, and I think Tirenje Kaunda and so on. And those who actually managed to get above 15%, I think there were I think 8 of them or something like that. Okay, and so the success rate in terms of getting anywhere near the threshold of even 15%, 84% of those have failed to breach the 15% mark. Now, and that was at a time when, there was no requirement for 50+1. Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah. So if we turn it around the other way, okay, and say how many presidents of those 40-something that have stood have ever managed to get 50+1? Only 3 of them. Only 3 of all our presidential aspirants have managed to get 50+1. The first one was Chilua in 1991. He got 75-point-something%. Chilua, when he was the only candidate for the opposition. The second time Chilua stood in 1996, he got I think 60-something%. Yes. Even though his main rival was barred by the constitution. So I tend for me to exclude 1996, okay, because it wasn't a fair election.
Yes,
but you can include it, but so Chilua had it. The next one who was able to get 50+1 was President Lungu in 2016. He got 50.03%. All the other candidates in between, Michael Sata, Mwanawasa, Arabi, all of them never came anywhere near 50%. The highest.
And Mwanawasa actually has gone on record to be the lowest. It was 26-something%, right?
It was 29%. He got 27-point-something%. You round it off to 29 to 29%. Nothing. It was Lungu in 2016 who got 50.03, I think, and then H in the last elections when he got 57%. Okay, so only 3 have been able to do it. Only 3. So those candidates, and I have said this, I don't want to denigrate them in any way, but the probability of a candidate who announces their candidature 7 months from the elections on your own, without a structure, without a political party, the chances of you getting above 1%, according to the statistical inference for the last 35 years, is nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible. So my own personal view, because of these statistical issues and because I have been involved in this process for this length, is one of the reasons I have been pushing on a personal level that we need to have a unified candidate where all of us can back if we can. Because without that, the probability, I'm not God, okay? The statistical probability is that no one will get 50+1. And you don't want to risk that in an electoral environment like ours, where the incumbent government is so unpopular. Because if you're going to have a wishy-washy kind of situation where the clarity in terms of who has won, then it gives the incumbency greater capacity to manipulate the vote. So we need a clear victory in order to defeat the UPND. And we're not going to do it if we're going to go in these elections with 16 candidates. We're not going to be able to do that. As I said, I am not God, and I would never profess anywhere near. I'm not a demigod. As I said to you, I don't kiss people behind. I don't expect anybody to kiss mine. I'm a normal human being, but I think that people should be realistic. And I
think that's where the problem is, Muhabi. People are not being realistic. People are not being realistic. Let me play this. I want to play this, and then I want you to comment, because it looks like, as far as I know, you are the only person in the political arena who's trying to be objective and look at this thing in its real sense of let's play this video clip and then we'll talk again.
For the first time since 1991, in the elections of 2026, we will not have a contender. As of now, before we have a general election, there is no in the opposition.
And the definition of a contender is one who has by themselves present a serious threat to the person I would call as the heavyweight champion currently sitting in the seat. Whether we like it or not, the current heavyweight champion of the world is President Hakainde, who is sitting in the seat. All of the other 9 elections, there was always a serious contender. 10 months before the elections, 1 year before an election. So there was Mazoka and Christian Tembo and the others against the candidate of the sitting government, that is Ramwanawasa. The following elections, the main contender was Michael Sata, from far apart. The following elections, the main contender was Michael Sata and HH. The following election, the contender was President Lungu. There has always been a contender. For the first time in the next election.
You were able to hear that?
As I haven't seen it.
It's the video clip where you are talking about, for the first time, we've never had a serious contender. I think, can you hear me, Muhabi?
I can hear you, but I was unable to see the video.
Oh, you were not able to see the video? It's the one where you are talking about.
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, for the first time, we do not have a serious contender. You remember that video?
Were you the one that I was on, Emmanuel Mwamba, I think?
I think so. I can't remember on what platform you were. My question to you, Muhabi, is that why are your colleagues in the opposition getting upset when you address this issue with empirical data? Like you have said, 49 candidates, only 3 have managed to get 50 plus or more. Why are your colleagues getting upset?
Well, I think maybe let me just say that my colleagues in the opposition actually were not upset. Mm-hmm. The majority of them actually were very understanding of what I said and the context in which I said it. But I think that there was one particular political party which thought at the time that I was directing those comments to them. And subsequently, after those, we had a meeting of that political party, and we.
Okay. I'm sure it's going to work out. Let's just wait for Muhabi to come back. It's all right. What we shall do here is let's take a break and we shall come back. We are talking to Muhabi Lungu, the Secretary General of the Zambia We Want. Our topic is the road to Zambia's 2026 general elections. We're just looking at how things are. All right, let's take a break.
Welcome to VibeForge AI Studios, where creativity meets innovation for artists, businesses, and ministries everywhere. We craft high-quality media fused with AI magic. Fast, affordable, and professional. From ad campaigns to event promos and music videos, our AI tools bring your vision to life. Whether you're an artist, entrepreneur, content creator, or ministry, VibeForge is built for you. Our work is driven by faith, innovation, excellence, and integrity, always.
See our portfolio on YouTube at The Christian Blogger and imagine what we can create for you. Let's build something extraordinary together today. Call, WhatsApp, email, or visit our website.
Hey Zambia, are you ready to kickstart your Saturdays with insightful conversations, unmissable guests, and all the trending topics you need to know? Then you have to tune into the ZBTR TV show. It's an electrifying show every single Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. From current affairs to lifestyle, entertainment, and everything in between, we're your go-to source for vibrant discussions that matter to you. Mark your calendars. Every Saturday, 9 a.m. CST, join the ZBTR TVS show live stream and be part of something amazing. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Most of our viewers are not subscribed, and we really want you to be part of our growing community. Also,
we had
give us
lost
a
each
follow
other.
on our social media platforms to stay updated throughout the week.
It's gone.
Hi.
Hello?
When you dropped, I took a break to give you an opportunity to come back.
Hello?
Hello, Muhabi. When you dropped, I took a break.
Yes, am I back?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. So you were trying to explain something about you had a meeting after you made that analysis with your colleagues.
Yeah, you're a bit muffled, but I can make out what you're saying.
Okay.
I was saying that I think that the disagreement basically was between myself and my colleagues in the Citizen First political party, not with Harry himself, because he hadn't made any comment, but I think some of his party members had made some comments with the view that I was targeting them, which I was not. I had made a general analysis, and so Harry Kalawa reached out to me, and we had a meeting, and I think that we were able to come to some form of agreement as to what was being said. And he undertook to me that he was more than prepared to be part of a larger alliance as long as the rules and regulations and procedures were done in such a transparent manner that everybody felt that this was intended to come up with a flag bearer which was the best, not where people are trying to use trickery or deceit in order to get to a flag bearer. And I understand his concern. And I think that there are a lot of people who understand, who are of the view that one of the things that always creates problems in terms of opposition political parties coming together is that there are a lot of people who come to the table with very dishonest intentions, and they don't put all the cards on the table. So it's very important that everybody puts the cards on the table. Secondly, there are some people who come to the table thinking that they can dupe us, or they can dupe you, or they can game the system. And we have said to many people that many of us have been in the political arena for too long now. I mean, I don't want to sound as if I'm boastful, but I can see a cheat coming from a mile away. And if you think you're going to be part of, you're going to try and cheat others, you will fail. You know.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect as well. And then thirdly, there is also the aspect where a lot of people come to the table with very unrealistic expectations, where in their minds, they've already been chosen as a flag bearer. And you can't come to the table with that sort of expectation. You have to come to the table with the expectation that if the system and the process is fair, I might emerge as a flag bearer. But also that if the system is fair and transparent and open, that your colleagues may be able to choose somebody else. And if you are honest about it, that you should be able to follow the person, whoever the person will be chosen. So I think that these issues bring a lot of complications to the process. But I think that it's fair to say that we are adults, we are people who are educated, we are people who are rational enough, and we are people who have been exposed. These things have happened.
Okay. Wi-Fi Yavuta. I'm sure he's going to come back. Please let us know where you're watching from and what you think about what Mr. Muhabi is saying as we wait for him to come back, and we continue our conversation. Let me know what your thoughts are on what he has said so far as we wait for Mr. Muhabi to come back here. Yeah, he did tell me that he was having some challenges with his Wi-Fi. Okay.
Trying to go back. Okay.
Okay.
There I go.
Yeah, you are good. You are good. Can you hear me? Muhabi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Again, a bit muffled, but I can hear you.
Okay. Let me tell me if you hear this question. You are on record as having said that going into the 2026 general election on the premise, just on the premise that HH has failed, therefore is unpopular, is political suicide. You hear what I said?
Nathan, I was not able to hear that. You were cutting, and there was a muffle, so I didn't hear what you said.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you. I can hear you. Mm-hmm. So why is going into the election just under the premise that HH has failed political suicide?
Yeah. I think we have a problem with the sound.
Okay. All right. Let me see. We need to work this out. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. We need help here with the sound. With the technical issues. All right. We seem to be having a technical challenge here. Okay, here he comes again. Okay, Muhabi, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, excellent. That's very good. Okay, my question is, why is it political suicide? You've gone on record saying it is political suicide to go into the 2020 general election just under the premise that HH has failed. Why is that political suicide?
Okay, sorry, Nathan. Can you go again? Again, it's like I'm in a fun. It's like you're in a funnel and in an echo, but I can't hear the question.
Let me see. How do we do this? Are you able? Let me do this. Are you able to get an earpiece? Are you able to get an earpiece? Okay. We have a challenge here. Please bear with us as we try to resolve this together. All right, Muhabi is having challenges. Let's see if we can make this work, or we may just have to stop and do it another time. Okay. Where is the challenge, Mr. Muhabi? Where is the challenge? Let me see if I can. Okay, here he comes. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. When you begin to speak, I can hear you clearly, but then as you go ahead, it muffles.
It muffles. Let me put this microphone right here. Is that good? You still can? Is that good?
Hello?
Do you have an earpiece? Can you find an earpiece or something like that?
Yeah, I do. I actually have one here.
Let's try to use an earpiece.
Try that.
Let's try an earpiece.
And see whether it will work. Okay. Again.
All right. Is that good? Is that good? All right. We have sound issues here. I do not know what is going on. All right, Muhabi, hi.
I can well, I have an earpiece on, as you can see, but the you are still coming out in a muffled sound, and I'm not able to put together what you're saying. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. I can hear you very well. Okay.
It sounds as if someone is playing piano when you are speaking. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Okay, can you hear me now?
No, you are still playing the piano like you are a keyboard, and you're playing Stevie Wonder or something.
I stopped the music. I stopped it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is it. The people watching say they can hear both of us. They can hear both of us.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I heard you now. I heard you. Now I heard you. Maybe let's try. Let's try.
Okay. Why is it just going into the 2026 election saying HH has failed political suicide? You've gone on record to say that.
Yeah. I was hearing you. The first line you are making. Let me just let me just try and say something else. Maybe on what I heard you, if people are hearing me.
Yeah, respond.
The UPND government has failed. Okay. They have failed miserably. From the perspective of the Zambia we want, we think that the promises which they had undertaken to do vis-a-vis the constitutional order, vis-a-vis general governance, vis-a-vis the economy, cost of living, and so on, they have not been able to reach the expectations of the people according to their own undertakings. But even over and beyond that, many of us feel that the UPND have been very divisive, particularly and although they seem to try and frighten people so that we don't talk about this thing, many of us have made the decision that we will not be cowed. We are not going to be put in a position where there is a failure for us to describe things as they are. Never in our country have we felt so divided, because even if you were to assume that there is some level of economic stability, without a national state where people feel that they are part of the process and are included, all of that means nothing. When you look at the civil rights movement in the United States, the US was booming in the 1950s and 60s. Yet there was a section of the population, black people, who felt that they were not part of the system. So you can sing all you want that we have had a post-war revolution, and there are now vacuum cleaners, there's TV and so on, and yet a section of the population can't vote, and they were not part of those who were part of the participants, and that's why the civil rights movement gained traction. So it is the same here. Even if you were to succeed in bringing about economic development, if there a large portion of the population who feels that they are not partakers, then there is nothing you've achieved. So the existence of a integrated national state is a prerequisite to economic development, and they have taken away that from majority of us. One of us have to think about who you are, and that is not what KK and the originators of this country intended. And so it is one of the reasons I have said in many forums that this is an existential threat to Zambia, and that those people who have perpetuated it must be shown the door and told that we're not going to accept this. So that is the reason why the premium on ensuring that the opposition is united in identifying a single party or two candidates in order to this thing that is going on is absolutely essential. You know, both from an economic point of view, from a social point of view, and from a national state point of view. It is absolutely imperative.
Okay. I've posted the questions in the, can you hear me? I've posted the questions in the chat room. After he finishes talking, then the thing is buffing again. Pastor Alan, I think you are right. Somebody is messing with this thing. I think somebody's messing with this. Well, we are not going to give up. We are not going to give up. What I've done is I have put the questions in the chat room between me and him. And then, okay, here he comes. Muhabi, I've put the questions in the chat room.
He said,
look in the chat room.
Put him in the chat room.
Yes, look in the chat room.
Okay.
Look at the questions in the chat room.
Okay, let me. Okay, let me find where the chat room is, because I'm not very savvy.
On your right side, where it says,
and let me try and get. Okay, so what number question? What number question are you asking?
Read number 8 for the viewers and then respond.
Yeah, so okay. Okay, so HH has failed, therefore he's unpopular, is political suicide. Please explain and give the statistical reality. Yeah, I mean, this is what I was saying, that if you look at first of all, let's look at the GDP figures. Again, there was last year when President was boasting that the economy had grown an average of 5.3% in the last 3 years.
Yes.
I had written a very extensive article, which I was actually questioning the figures that were being presented to the Zambian people, and was saying that the methodology which is being used in order to calculate the GDP growth rate must have some.
Okay, whatever we try, they are messing with it. Okay. We are not going to give up until we finish the conversation and the questions that he's asking. Okay, there he comes. Okay.
Okay. Am I back on?
Yeah, you are back. You are back. Continue.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was saying, Nathan, that I questioned those figures, and the basis of my statistical figures was not because I was dreaming, but because I had been written by the Ministry of Finance, and which were presented to select committees in Parliament. And that if you look at the trajectory of the data that they were presenting from the budget cycle at the beginning of the year, when they said, oh, we project growth rates to be 4.3, they would come to September and say, oh, the projected growth rates, we were wrong, we've revised it to 2.8 or to 2.1, and this is with 1 quarter to go. Then the following year, they will say, oh, the economy grew by 5%. And I was saying,
Okay. You are back.
I have no idea what's going on. You know, in anticipation for this show, I actually Windows yesterday. I think someone is just trying to be funny.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was saying that when you look at that data, the only reports from the Ministry of Finance, it shows a great deal of discrepancies. And I was saying we cannot be so off the mark, because if you are professionals and you make some form of prediction in terms of the data you have, you cannot be so wrong by the third quarter of the year, and then all of a sudden so right in the first quarter of the next year. I used to work for the Ministry of Finance. I used to be one of those writing the annual economic reports. And I know for a fact that we used to try and produce these reports by the first quarter of the year. And that in many that was available to us was insufficient. And there are many times that we would have to make what you would call educated guess. I know that for a fact. I also know that I was involved in some of the work that was being done at Central Statistics Office, as we were called there. So sometimes the data can be faulty, especially if you compare the data that was being presented with data that was on the Bank of Zambia website, with data which was on the World Bank website, with data which was on the IMF website. You would find that there are discrepancies within all those figures, okay? And I was asking the government to be able to give an explanation. From my perspective, the figures that should carry weight are the figures that should be from the government, because in this country, the legal provider of information is Zamstats and not the World Bank or the IMF. And again, having been an officer at the Ministry of Finance, I know that the IMF and the World Bank heavily relied on the data that we provided to them. Now, they sometimes helped us by giving us funding to ensure that whether it was the health survey that was being done every 2 years, whether it was the living conditions, these surveys were being paid for by our donors, but the manpower and everything else was from local. So there is a discrepancy with the figures, okay? And when the census was being
he has to finish all the questions. I've sent him the questions in the chat room. So what we shall do is he reads the question and he responds to it. That's how we are going to do it. All right, there he is again. There he is again.
Yeah, so I was saying that census 2022 was being questioned by the chairman of the Public Service Commission. We understood that even from their perspective, they had seen data which they were uncomfortable with, which they possibly could not quantify. For example, I can say to you, and I've said this thing before, one of the indications of the census report suggests, or no, well, doesn't suggest, indicates that the most widely spoken language in Zambia now, apart from Bemba, is Tonga, and that Tonga has overtaken Nyanja areas as the most widely spoken language.
Wow.
I mean, look, I think that is bull. I actually think that is a lot of bull. Okay, and I won't finish the bull, but you can finish it yourself. Because I am against the fact that a particular language should be the
Okay, we're trying our best, whatever the challenge is.
This is rather annoying, very annoying. But I was saying that you know, I have no single strain of tribalism in my body. I have often stated that I'm married from the Southern Province. My daughter is married from the Southern Province, and I've got many connections there. But facts are facts. And if you look at the trends of how one language displaces another language in the last 5 years, if you look at the trend analysis, it's just not possible. So a political subtext has been added to the equation, even when it regards figures. And when a country begins to play with statistical figures for purposes of trying to inflate the performance of an administration, then you get into trouble. So this is similar to Donald Trump getting upset because the monthly job figures are not according to his liking, and begins to start firing people. When we get to that extent as a country, then we're in trouble. Now, for the US, you might even argue that it's all right because maybe there's other institutional frameworks that are going to prevent from the data being manipulated. But in this country, and the behavior of this government is so atrocious in this regard that all of us are left wondering whether this is whether these are the correct figures. So one of the things we are going to do as the Zambia we want, should we be given the opportunity to govern, is to be able to ensure that statistics, data, and information is made completely and totally apolitical, and not have this sort of nonsense.
Okay. Go to question number 10.
I suppose. Question number 10. Let me look at it. Do you think one of our biggest mistakes we've been making as a nation is a focus on the election as a president and have neglected the signal? Yes, definitely. Definitely. If we go back at the beginning of the program, and if we had another opportunity to have this program at another time and spend a little bit more time on just the structure of our governance system, we would be able to get into the details of it. Because I was saying at the beginning of the show that we have clearly made a demarcation in our essays between the presidency and the head of the party. Likewise, I think that there should be a clear demarcation between the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And our legislature, according to the question that you have asked, is a completely inferior body to the executive, because our legislators, most of them are those who can be elected at a parliamentary level. The quality of debate in the House, in Parliament, is lower than it was during the one-party state, when you had a lot of people who were Form 5s and were Standard 2 on whatever. Instead of us progressing to a situation where our members of Parliament are the highest quality, we have some of the most inept members of Parliament in the last 60 years. And so one of the things that we want to be able to do as Zambia, we want all as a united front, is to be able to select the best quality of people who should be presented to the country at the level of members of Parliament, so that we can enhance the debate at the parliamentary level. Over and above that, we also want to be able to ensure that the legislature is independent, or sufficiently independent that it may provide its useful role, both in terms of policy as well as providing a check to the government. So you are completely right. I think we need to look more into this, even at the level of councillor. There is this thing that is going on in the last I think in the last 10 years, in which there has been a progressive hammering out towards everyone who is of merit or of meritorious achievement, to say that all of us must be equal. Don't say imowaku mayadi or imamene mkaba vizungu or whatever. You cannot be the only governance, or let us be able to just speak the local language. Again, I'm very strong about that. I was on Mazabuka Radio 2 weeks ago. And I was invited there. And when we came to question and answer session, 99% of the questions that were being fired at me were being fired in Tonga. And the presenter would ask me, do you understand? And I said, look, I'm married to a Southern. I can pick up one or two words, but not at the level where I can communicate about policy issues that we're discussing, even in my own language. I may not be able to discuss these higher level issues in the vernacular, simply because that's not what we are taught in school. So I'm proud to be an African. I'm proud to be Ngoni Tumbuka. But the national language in this country is English. Even then, we have deteriorated the quality of English in this country. More people could speak English 30 years ago than they do. Why? Because we're trying to say that everywhere we go, we must emphasize the local language.
Good point, Muhabi. Good point. When he comes back, we shall probably ask a last question and try to come back and make arrangements to have him another time.
Nathan, I hope that I'm back. What I was saying is that I believe in diversity. I'm a very Afrocentric person, but we have to understand that we were brought together by our colonizers, and there's nothing we can do about that.
That's true.
Without a common denominator, we may not be able to be as cohesive as a national state, so that later on in our lives, 60 years in the life of a nation is nothing. When we reach 100, maybe we can find something like that. And I've told people very clearly that you are not going to teach students science in Tumbu or in Ngoni or in Bemba. It's not possible. We have not come to that level. So stop having this ridiculous notion that somehow we can use our local languages.
He is trying. He is trying his best to continue this. Muhabi. I'm trying to type a question for him here, a follow-up to what he has said. Okay. Yavuta Wi-Fi. Yavuta Wi-Fi. Let's see what happens here. I hope everybody, you please bear with us. These technical issues, I've never experienced anything like this. Okay, for everybody, I think he just sent me a message. He says, I think Yakanga. I agree with him. Hey, we appreciate you all for we can continue. Yeah, let me just send in. We can continue another day. Oh, you can hear me? Let's do this. You try to come back, and then I can probably ask a final question. I won't put you on the screen, but we can probably just have you in the background and respond to a question. Try to come back on, if you can do that. He can hear me now, although he's not on the screen. Let's try to see if we can make this. Because there's a very important question I want to ask you based on the point that you have raised. Okay. Muhabi, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I can't see the pictures, but I can hear you.
You can hear me? Can you hear? You can hear me?
I can hear you with an echo.
Oh, okay. Let's do this. Tell me if you hear this question. Somebody sent a question and says, shouldn't some of the top leaders in the alliance focus on contesting parliamentary seats? What do you think?
No, I can't hear you.
Okay, let me put you in the. Let me do this. Let me repeat the question. Shouldn't some of the alliance top leaders consider contesting parliamentary seats? Did you hear that? Okay,
I can.
Okay, look at question.
Alliance to do with MPs.
Look at question number 12 in the chat. Look at question number 12. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Let me go back and see. The question.
No, it's not working. Okay, everybody. Next week is Muhabi Conversations with Muhabi. Has got 3 young people that he wants to bring on to discuss a few things. And then we are going to have Mr. Johnson. Did you see the question?
On the chat, let me just see.
In the private chat between you and me.
Yeah, I'm trying to locate it, but I think that my
your computer is not opening.
My proficiency in this. Yeah, I can't seem to see where it is. I think that I need assistance in this. I am a bit archaic in
okay.
Computer. I will get my wife.
Let's do this. Let's schedule another day to finish this, because we need to finish this conversation without any interruptions.
Hello?
I'm saying let's schedule another day to do this without interruptions. Okay, Avut and Kani. Like I was saying, next week Muhabi is coming back, and then we're going to have 2 shows next week. After Muhabi, I'll be talking to Mr. John Sangwa. So thank you everybody for bearing with us with this challenge, Chani, of the challenge of the technical issues that we've been having. Please join me next week again. My sincere apologies, and thank you to Mr. Lungu.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.